Astro World, welcome back to another week of the Hardwood and Astro Turf Talk Show. Peoples, this is episode 40, almost close to the big 50. So excited for that in the next 10 weeks, however long that is from here. Probably like what, 3 months,
Yeah.
3 months and a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited to be back here with the fellas to chop it up, talk some NBA, some interesting stuff happened this week again, so we can get right into it. But before we do, as always, a little housekeeping. If you already in the stream, peoples, click that like button. It quick. Ain't gonna take you too long. Also, if you're new and you like what you see or you like what you hear, subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms at Hasbro Bros, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner. So, without any further talking, let me get into this week's talk show. People's Hakeem, what going on, man? Last week you was hot.
It was. This week I would have gone 3 for 3, but some questionable decisions were made. We will get into that later on in the show. But as far as right now, I'm I'm doing good. I'm lovely. Had a great gym workout. I'm just here ready to chop it up with the guys.
Nice,
As usual.
nice. Right on. What happened, man?
I see him,
What
man.
happened last week?
I see a man come here, bossing and bragging. Got a whole background with a crown.
You know
I'm
it.
sorry to say.
You know it, buddy.
You was straight. This man made the whole prediction. We got so much time left. Come
Yeah,
on,
like
man,
you call it
Hans.
all.
Come
3 for 3,
on.
buddy.
Come on, Hans, man. A whole
You got a bit of
crown.
luck, Hans.
Throw me.
Lord,
Throw
Lord.
me.
But ready to talk. Ready to talk about this week. I think this week in the NBA was quite eventful. They had a lot of little riffs and tiffs and a lot of little comedy scenes and a lot of little actions. It was actually
It's true.
NBA rivalry week. It was actually had a title behind it. So a lot of the
Yeah.
matchups from this week were considered rivalry matchups in some
Rivals.
extent. Example that we can talk about it is Celtics versus Lakers. That Celtics and the Lakers are known to be rivals dating back all the way in the 80s and
A
stuff like that.
historic
Yeah.
rivalry.
Yeah, historic rivalry. Were tied for the most championships until the Lakers won the last championship.
Right.
So it was a good week for the NBA. I would say a fun week and a
Yeah,
fun
for
week for me
sure, for
too.
sure. So I think I got to give kudos for bringing up some good matchups
Yeah.
for last week.
Yeah,
That was a good job. Teams went at it tit for tat. There was no telling who was going to win. You just had to hold on to your chair and hope that whoever you pick was going to win. But as experienced matchmaker, I tend to get these things right more often than not.
So man,
So you know how it goes.
right the wave, brother. Right the wave.
Forever, buddy,
Whoa.
forever. I like Hakeem. Just get one wave and crash. That's it.
Hans is a tsunami. Ah, boy.
So let me talk about it. First game, Hawks versus Thunder. A good game, not gonna lie. High scoring game, 137 to 132, something like that. Guys was going tit for tat, man. I don't know if you.
Uh, I thought this would have been an interesting matchup, truthfully. But I kind of I know you just praised me for giving some good matchups, but I
Yeah.
totally overlooked the Nets versus the Sixers. I don't know why I missed that. It was on the same as that day, and that should have been at the priority on the list
Yeah.
because that would have been the first time
Mhm.
Ben Simmons was playing in Philadelphia since he got traded to the Nets, and both Ben Simmons
Yeah.
and James Harden. So that was a
Right.
prime matchup, and that was an interesting game as well. But uh,
Yeah. I would have lost that one for sure.
You
I
would
I
have
ain't
gone
know
gonna-
to the net.
you would have probably gone. Yeah, I would have gone
Yeah.
Sixers for sure. I probably would have had a crown in my background this week. But hey, hey. But the Thunder versus the Hawks. I thought those were two teams kind of were on the same space in terms of the standings, and should have
Yeah.
provided for a good matchup. Shea versus Trey, and
Mhm.
Pure
happened.
pure
Yeah,
offense.
pure
Pure
offense.
offense. No defense
Yeah.
being played. Or
Yeah, little.
little to no defense being played.
But yeah, it was buckets. Shea was sensational as he's been all season. We can get
Mhm.
into the All Star selections and a little bit later down, but he should definitely be an All Star given his play. I like how the Thunder are looking, but at the end of the day, the Hawks are a little bit more of an experienced team. They were able to bring it all the way home. It was a pretty close game as well.
Yeah.
So glad to see the Hawks actually trying to make a little move up the standings after I would say a shaky start or a shaky season on the whole for the most part, given their new acquisition of the Jonte Murray.
Yeah, yeah, he was firing
Yeah.
on the night as well. Like trees inside the paint, going at players and stuff like that. He was playing really well, so it was good to see that. Let me transition into Grizzlies versus Warriors.
Before you move there, right, Hansel?
Yeah,
This is what if you can see this, but it says help. I think it's hard to see it, but get share some
yes.
help. Thunder need some help. Like
Point back, point
I,
back, point back.
I feel like they ain't focusing properly, right?
No,
And
pull it towards you. Yeah,
Yeah.
right there. Nah, pull it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
basically.
they, they need some help. That man needs some help. That man has been balling for years and can't really move up in the standings at all.
Yeah.
He dropped that 30 piece and still lost to the Highland Hawks, who have been struggling themselves. I feel like it's time for that organization to get that man some help, and I feel for him. But he played as everyone said, sensational. Man dropped 36 points. He got a bit of help from Jalen Williams, but it wasn't enough. So if he makes the All Star list, I'll be very surprised. But we keep it pushing. We keep it pushing.
But how can you saying that he had a sensation before? He averaging 30 something on the season, dog. Like, I mean,
Yeah, but
you
You
should
know,
he's
put
been playing well.
instead of
Hakeem is
just
a
help.
hater.
Instead of just help, you
Hakeem
should
is a
put help
hater.
desperately because you averaging 30 something on the season and your team is just what 23 and 25.
They must be like below the bottom 10. They must with the position now. They're
But
about
I think they're gonna be
they
like
are right now
13th
currently
or,
11th position
yeah,
right now
11th. Yeah,
to
okay.
date. They're out of the playing tournament. That'd be another season, never having a chance to make the playoffs.
But I mean, it is a little bit tough to say because the West is so close. Anything can happen at this point, so we
Anything can
can't really
happen,
we
but
can't really rule them out.
as
But
I right
yeah,
now, they're still not in the playing
yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
Get that man some help.
Get Lucas and help. But yeah,
Sometimes it's not like Luca don't need no help. Grizzlies versus Warriors. We back at that one. Um,
I'm very happy. Let me get a share of this. I'm very happy that Warriors win. As I was telling you guys, right? Grizzlies a lot of talk with no bite, and with Steph even getting ejected, Grizzlies still gonna win the game. So I'm quite excited to see Golden State beating them. Clay chipped in with 24 points. Steph had a big night before his ejection, 34 points. Jordan Poole, 21 points. That's the new big three forming. And Draymond, did his thing on the rebound on the boards, getting 13 rebounds. So they had a well-rounded night. And although Memphis is not really in the same category as the Warriors, I think the Warriors still see them as a threat that they want to nip in the bud. They don't want them to get too confident, Just they have to humble them sometimes. So I was quite happy
but
to
that was
see
not a
this.
hammer.
this
That was a
I
close
said
game.
humble, humble, humble,
Oh,
humble, humble.
humble. Oh,
Yeah, humble, humble. And I'm quite happy to see that the Warriors put them in their place. It's still a long season to go, but
that was
as
a
far
close
as
game. Warriors lucky.
Yep.
I would say
no,
that.
no, no, no. I won't say lucky. It was
Warriors
deserved.
lucky.
It was deserved. And
I
how
think
regular you see
both.
Steph?
I
How
think
regular you
both
see Steph?
teams deserve the win. To be
If I'm not
honest.
mistaken, right, that was the third time in Steph's career he got ejected. Like that doesn't happen too often. So you're a main guy. The guy who was cooking was ejected. Come on, if he was to play the entire game, I don't even think it would have been a close game.
Come on, bro. Game was a close game all the way up to the last minute or so in the fourth. It would have been a close game regardless.
Not in overtime.
Huh?
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
If
Actually,
if
no,
it went to
overtime.
overtime,
Yeah, it didn't go overtime. Yeah.
if it went to overtime, it would be scared for the Warriors. So it would be scared for my predictions. So there's that. Because Steph went and get himself ejected. So that was I would say that was a kind of you gotta find a way to draw the line. The referees were pretty right, but the reason for why it happened was crazy to me. That Steph was throwing out his mouthpiece because you know Jordan Poole took that shot.
Yeah,
I understand the
every
stake of the game.
Yeah, I think it was a combination. He took the
like
shot.
Yeah.
He didn't pass him the ball. and that he missed.
Yeah,
If he made the bucket, all would have been forgiven. But
probably.
Steph is the superstar on the team. You got to pass him the ball when Steph clapping his hands. Pass the ball, pass the ball.
That's how KD and Draymond got into
Draymond
it.
got
Yeah,
into it. Yeah, yeah.
when KD was clapping.
KD was clapping hands. Pass the ball. The superstar here.
Yeah.
Pass the ball. Oh
So I
yeah.
guess for that standpoint, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But hey, that's all
I
they did, of
guess
course, of the game.
there's a fine, like a very fine line for conduct and reactions when it comes to the NBA.
Yeah.
That any little thing just over the line, we're asking you technical or ejection for.
I just feel like
So-
the
Yes,
refs
that's
be
an automatic
abusing.
ejection. No, that's an automatic ejection. No, but I mean, you could injure someone with the mouthpiece. Throwing, hit someone in the eye or something. Like,
I think the refs are like police with like police in traffic. All they gotta do is turn on their sirens and they can take advantage of what they have. I just feel like the refs is just causing ridiculous thing and it's just to show some level of power. I- And it kind of affecting the product of the game. We can get into a little bit about that later on with this LeBron game, this Celtics game, but geez, man, some of the things that they call for is just mind-boggling. Shake your head, and sometimes people don't even say anything; they just blow the whistle. It's quite frustrating. I'm not even
Ghost
a player.
calls.
Yeah,
yeah,
But you mentioned it, Lakers versus Celtics, hot game, went into overtime, and then obviously one of the teams just crumbled under the pressure after overtime.
the game should have never
Um,
gone to overtime.
ah,
The,
Oh my
the game got closed out pretty convincingly at OT, which is disappointing. But before we get into the whole shenanigans, your glass bottle was repaired, buddy. AD came back. AD played well. Did his thing in the paint, and I guess hitting deep twos and threes every now and again. LeBron was three
LeBron was
balls, so
history.
his shooting was on point on the night.
In that game,
And
yeah.
your boy Pat Bev give you
Pat
a
Bev,
little
yeah,
put back.
yeah, boy. Pat Bev really put back dunk.
Pat Bev really put back. It wasn't like Kyrie's put back earlier in the season, but
Yeah. But I mean, it's still
nonetheless,
surprising because
yeah.
you wouldn't expect there's no way expect Kyrie or Pat Bev to be putting
Dunking.
back, he get putting in a put back. Don't like, come on, man. Where the hell
Yeah,
did that
exactly.
come from?
Professional athletes, man. They're all athletic, athletic people over 6 feet tall. So,
Yeah.
if I could dunk myself,
You know yourself.
uh,
I want video footage. I need proof.
right, we ain't loading that clip.
Yeah, concept
For
for
the audience.
for
We
a
ain't loading that clip for the
video.
audience.
Hakeem Trace it down.
I like that title already,
Yeah.
Trace. Because everybody know what can happen.
A lot of talk,
Yeah.
a lot of talk.
The outcome is in the title. So yeah, Lakers versus Celtics. Generally speaking, Raybon, what are your thoughts?
I think this was a fantastic game. Whoever came up with this idea for rivalry week, the stars aligned for them because
Mm.
all the games were banging, and this especially was probably one of the biggest one. It was a tight game, true and true. We got a vintage LeBron performance, 41 points. The team wasn't really contributing as much as he was, but
Yeah.
still beautiful to watch. Still amazing to see at 98 years old, carrying, putting the team on his back. But sadly, to no avail. To no avail. Comes
Yeah.
down to the last play in regulation, and the ref missed what I consider to be an extremely blatant foul.
The man
He
got
was
hit
right there.
twice.
He was
That
right
man got
there.
hit twice
that
too.
was an atrocious call. That
It
was one of
was.
the worst calls I've seen. That was terrible. To the fact that the referees association had to come out and admit
Mhm.
that was a wrong call. I don't know what they were thinking. Just about the last play in the game on the line. LeBron goes up. LeBron of all players,
Yeah.
two players. Jason, I can't remember who the other player was. Jason Tatum for sure. Slapped my man on the arm.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even near the ball,
It's true.
and said no foul. And then Jason Tatum is proceeding down the court with his hand in the air, like, yeah, I got that one. That was I couldn't believe it. That was the worst call. LeBron was on the ground like in disbelief, in
He was
shock.
throwing a tantrum, B.
Yeah, he
I
was.
was shocked. Your man was,
Rightfully so.
your man
That
was
was one.
freaking out. He should have been
He's
ejected.
he's no way. Come on, he's earned that call. He's earned that call. All his 19 years of excellence, and to not get a call like that, he should be at the free throw line, and he would probably would have made one or two.
At least you know. At least you know he would have made one of the two. Because
Boy,
LeBron wasn't hitting both of them free throws to see if he
he would have
liked.
made one or two. He would have made one or two. Game over, and so would have not gone 3 for 3. I would have been 3 for 3. So you got lucky. You got lucky.
I'm so proud of you, Hakim. You don't know how proud of you am. And once you know how LeBron wasn't hitting both of
Come
them free
on.
throws.
No, not both, not both. 1 for 2. And I know what made the whole event a bit funny. It was when my boy Patrick Beverly came up with the camera to the referee. You see this? This is what you're supposed to be looking at.
That
You
is
see
the
this?
funniest thing I see all week.
That
That
was
is
hilarious.
so sporty.
That was
I can't
hilarious.
believe it. And the thing is, I think to myself, who on God's earth would give Patrick Beverly this camera? First of all, there's no way I give Patrick Beverly my camera. And the ref, correctly so, immediately gave him a T. Because he deserved it. But,
I mean,
He did, but he embarrassed. The referee made a terrible decision. They embarrassed themselves. I can't even blame Patrick Beverly for doing that. His character, his personality, that was in line. It was a little surprising, but it was still in line with knowing what Patrick Beverly can do or has done in his career.
yeah.
That fits well in.
but the question that I have concerning that whole camera situation is that with all the technology that we got and rest with the ability to go back to players and review it to see if they made the right call or not, and then make a deferred decision depending on the situation. In my head, I questioning why wasn't that decision made?
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree.
because there was an entire break after that play. Yes, I guess somebody called a timeout or something. Or
But again, I
whatever.
think the game was
It went
over.
to overtime.
Was,
No, it went to
Oh,
overtime.
sorry,
okay,
we went overtime,
right,
but they're not gonna call. Yeah,
but at that point, they had the opportunity to go to the desk, look at the monitors, review the play, and say, hey, we made a bad call, 2 shots or whatever. Because it's happened in the past. I honestly don't understand why it didn't happen. But
it is.
hey, it's the NBA. You know how the NBA goes.
Yeah, I think for majority of the season, the refs getting a slap, and deservedly so in most cases. I think in some cases the players specifically are winning, especially about the amount of travel calls and carrying calls that the refs are calling these days. There's that too. But I feel like that part is probably the best that the refs are doing right now, because that has been such a staple in the game these days that all the players just become so accustomed to it now that you actually got to play basketball like it's meant to be played is an issue. you know, that's the only way that I could give the refs any kudos on so far for the season. But outside of that, just so many ticky tack technicals and ticky tack fouls in it. Guys, in that same Celtics game, there was a play where Jason Tatum was on a fast break. Dennis Schroeder was on him. Dennis Schroeder ain't touched this man at all. Jason Tatum and again at and one on the fast break, and I just like, you
How?
miss that. I get call. I can you call that. I can miss LeBron's drive to the basket in the final minutes to win the game.
Final
I
seconds.
feel
For the
that
seconds, yeah.
refs is called based on what them think might happen, or based on
Yeah.
how close the players are, or something like that.
It's a better
Embarrassing.
judgment. But
LeBron's
that's
one
the
is an
thing.
exception because, like, everybody's saying they totally got it messed up. But generally speaking, even when it comes to certain players, Joel Embiid is a prime example.
Ah, boy, I can't.
Like,
That's why
some of these players just holler out
Yeah.
and just blow the whistle.
Because you've earned it's somewhat it's almost like it's an unwritten law in the NBA. When you are a superstar, a player that is known to drive to the paint or attract a lot of fouls, they tend to give you the benefit of the doubt in the calls, and that was to me was even more surprising. You used to see it with James Harden a lot, definitely Joel Embiid, and LeBron LeBron and Giannis, but the fact LeBron has not been again, the cause has been changing to me. The landscape has been changing around him a bit over the last couple of years, especially at Lakers. But it's like they don't want to give him certain calls. And I remember players were constantly. I remember Kyle Korver. Heard Kyle Korver say one time in a video that when he was playing against LeBron, he was like, "Why is this guy always whining? Does he not get enough fouls?" And then we started playing with him on Cavaliers. He was like, "Oh, this guy gets no calls," because you actually see that he does not get any more
Perspective.
calls. Yeah, So I don't know what the referees were thinking. It still boggles me to this moment.
Don't lose sleep over it, Hakeem. Next week is another time that you might get a
Next week,
chance to go
go
three
three
for
for
three,
three.
but
All right, for sure.
it's just a chance. It's not guaranteed.
More than 50%. Feeling
More than what?
confident. More than 50%.
Yeah,
Feeling
okay.
confident.
Right now, if that's what you believe. um, let me transition into the All Star. I guess starters picks, and then afterwards we could decide on who you think might be in the reserve lineups for the East or the West. But let me talk about the starters first. We want your thoughts about starters on the East.
I know everyone is saying it. I know that uh, people believe it, and I think there's some truth to it. Uh, Joe Embiid should have been a All Star starter.
But who would you have taken
But
out?
yes, that is the question. But
Hmm.
at the same time, everybody else that's a starter does have the right
A
to be
good
there.
chance, a good case.
If there's
Yeah.
anybody I could take out from, if the starters are all across the board, I'd take out Zion. I don't see how Zion get to be a starter. Truthfully,
After missing so many games.
after missing so many games, if you're gonna
Yeah,
take out
but
Zion,
look at
I
his
would take
impact
him.
when he
But
came back.
is it what we know at the media I think is the fans have 50% of they come for 50% of the overall vote, if I'm not mistaken. So the fans want to see entertainment.
Yes, I know
So
that's why was placed in the game because it's an entertainment factor thingy. But I
Hmm.
just don't. I just feel like, oh man, if we
yeah,
could have, I would put Embiid in the slot, but we know we can't. But jeez, or maybe even somebody else. I probably if Shea could have. Shea is not a front court player. That's the only problem, and I think the only reason that Zion was able to make it because the front court players in the West
are in the
are
West, are
yeah,
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 yeah.
it don't really have a big amount of star players that are front court players in the West, so he ended up getting his spot. But jeez, man,
But for the East, as the starters were Mitchell, Curry, Tatum,
yeah,
Durant, and Giannis. I mean, you can't take out Giannis. He's the captain, matter of fact, so you can't take out Giannis.
right.
Tatum or Durant.
I can't take out the only boy I would probably lean to Durant, but that's another
'Cause
thing.
I think
We want to take Kevin Durant
Gotcha.
or did he start
Better lean towards Durant.
yeah,
By the
like
wait,
way.
was Durant wasn't injured part of the season
yeah,
for some
Durant
games
injured
this
no.
season.
Okay.
So he's probably he's this name starter, but he's not gonna play in the game, so he's gonna replace. But it would all be Durant just because of his injury, but he'll probably take Durant over Embiid.
Yeah.
Or maybe Tatum is playing well too. Tatum deserves a spot. So
That's a
it's
tough
tough.
one. That's a very tough one. Truthfully, truthfully speaking. But maybe what they need to do is go back. Well, I don't know if they ever did it, but maybe doing it by position instead of this is position, but not a solidified position. So maybe do
Yeah,
center.
I think this is easier because
Yeah, it is.
it, yeah, it's easier to
It
to
opens up the
include
pool.
players because then you have Giannis and be competing for the same position, and
Yeah, then
you
it's like
gotta choose
yeah,
who
it
you
makes
put as
it
your
a
center.
little bit
So,
more tough. Uh, yeah, that's a tough one, boy, Embiid. I don't know.
but look, also, mhm.
I don't know if
Sit on the
they feel
bench.
him to, you know, to
Bench this one.
to to probably go for the MVP instead because he's on that trajectory for the season.
But I don't think I don't think Embiid is an exciting player though. Like these other players, to be honest.
Right.
Like
I,
he's moved slow. I mean he's get the job done, but like man's moved slow and you know what I mean? Is like
Um,
he's not
they don't man.
big stage all star caliber type excitement. You know what
Okay.
I mean? That you're looking for. So yes, maybe he deserved to be in the reserves, but as a starter, looking at these players that on this starting list right
Yeah.
now, this is excitement right here.
Yeah, true. Right, and again,
I would say so.
that's
Yeah,
the primary
that's
reason
a bit is
I think
yeah.
Zion is there as well.
But
Mm-hmm.
skill for skill, skill for skill, I wouldn't exclude Embiid. He deserves to be there for sure.
Yeah.
The
But
West look
as you
deep
said,
though.
by you saying that, that looking at entertainment factor,
Mm-hmm.
I can see why he's not there. He's not a favorite in among the fans per se, not in comparison to any of these guys here.
Hmm.
So rightfully so, I can understand why he's not a starter.
Yeah.
But this East squad looks pretty stacked in terms of the starters right now.
Yeah.
Mitchell,
It just
Curry,
look
Tatum,
exciting.
Durant, Giannis. Yeah, that is a well balanced squad
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Any of these guys could go
Hmm.
nuclear,
Hmm.
sorry,
Hmm.
and drop 50 in my opinion. Any of them. So looking
Anybody
tough for the
on the
West.
West? Anybody in the West too? You
But
mean?
I look at tough for the West. But I will still choose the West over the East.
You see, all right.
I will still
So
choose the West.
all right, look on the night, right? I looking at Jokic with top passes, like laser passes.
Oh, we
Luka.
gotta call it the West team. We gotta call it the starting team
I
for the
looking
West
at
first.
Steph third row in the crowd
Mm.
trees because that's what he's do. Shoot them from anywhere. Locker room trees. Steph. Zion, you know Zion County tree 16 mil at some point in time.
Only two
Time that
points.
James can probably do something very similar. And Luca can do either that or trees. But then you're looking at handles now from the east side.
Yeah, the East Side got some crazy skill players like
The east side,
Donovan
the
Mitchell,
east side got some
Kyrie,
handles.
KD, Tatum. Jeez.
Yeah. So to me, it looking like it can be a full display of skill. Not one side got all of it and not the other side. You know what I mean? So like the West, it looking like got dunks and passes and trees. The other side got handles as well as dunks and passes. So
But
I
I
think
feel like I feel like that's who's gonna guard. Like first thing, the team on the East is smaller than the team in the West. The West, their starting five is a bigger physically than the
mhm,
East.
mhm.
Who's gonna guard Williamson? Who's gonna guard LeBron? Who's gonna guard Jokic?
Giannis can guard Williamson.
Yan Giannis can try. I've seen Williams. I have seen Williams manhandle Giannis and take away the ball from him and dunk. I left Giannis
You're
speechless.
right. You're right. You're right.
So so he can try to guard Williams. Even let's say even he was able to, that's only one person. You still got to worry about LeBron and Jokic. The team is a small. Durant playing no defense. Tatum, I'll give you Tatum. Tatum is a pretty good defender now, but you're
Yeah,
still gonna
but
expose either Jokic or LeBron. And LeBron just played him a drop 40
but
something points on the Celtics.
but you gotta remember this is All-Star game.
You don't play
So
defense.
so you can put matchups for the starters just like that. Because you gotta remember the East can got MB to come in and
Well,
try to play a little defense.
hypothetically,
At some point. So
hypothetically, right now, on just the starting five, the East versus the West. I feel like
but
the
you
East
know
can
that the
handle the West.
starters can just come on to put on a show in the beginning. Ain't nobody
Not always. Not
trying
always.
to
They,
play
they try. They try.
defense
They
first
try to
half.
make it. They try to make it possibly, but they try to make it entertaining, and they try to. Yeah, I think first teams to reach a certain amount of points in every quarter, money donated to the charity. So they do try to make it somewhat competitive, so the caliber of play is pretty high. So I feel like
Yeah,
some
but
because
that's
then
later
they
down,
still want
like
to win.
mid third quarter to end of the game is when people start to get serious and stuff. But usually at the beginning, it is all showboating, men's left main to going dunk, and you know what I
You
mean.
got warm. You got warm. You got warm up into it, man. You got warm up. But it's still, if it's a serious game, East can handle the West. You know, Curry hitting threes. I just say from the third row.
Yeah, I think the West have a big player making skill set. You got a
You're
bunch
right.
of passers on your team. You got Steph, Luca. LeBron.
and
You
LeBron.
actually you got like three the best passes
You
in the
got
NBA.
you got
Jokic,
Jokic, boss. You should have called
LeBron,
Jokic first.
Jokic,
Now
LeBron, and
LeBron's the best
Luca.
passer in the NBA. Come on,
You said what?
LeBron's the best passer in the NBA.
Dog, you get
Boy,
No, come on, no, come on.
boy.
I already gave you the
my
free throw at the line. I already gave you the one or two for the free throws. You can't expect another
But
one
that's
now.
standard, though.
Hakeem.
That's
LeBron, Le,
facts.
LeBron is known to be the best passer and the best driver of the league. But let's
He
keep it
got the
pushing.
driver. But come on, man, you
Come on,
can't tell
he is
me
a
you
he's a
you saying it like it
talented
without
passer.
you saying it without a shadow of a doubt.
Have you
Jokic,
seen passes when he was
Jokic,
on?
Jokic is a all-time great passer
Jokic is
already.
a savant, big
What you
man, when
mean?
it comes to passing.
You see LeBron highlights dunking. The only highlights you see with Jokic's passes, you know that though. You know that.
Exactly.
So
But
you know
Jokic
every
athletic
week,
enough to go and run and drive.
you feel like every week you could go on host of highlights or NBA and see a pass from Jokic making their page. Should tell you
Because
enough.
Nuggets because Denver has the sorry. So Denver has the players, and when Jokic makes the pass, they're gonna knock on the threes or the twos. Sometimes the Lakers players have been inconsistent. Hence we're a little low in the positioning right now. When LeBron makes a brilliant pass and he doesn't finish, you know what the stat line says? No assist. So then it does, so, so you need to not only threes and not only two and get the twos to get for that to count as assist to get a highlight.
Oh,
Let's get
that's
come on
actually
now.
facts,
All
though.
right, all right, Hockey. I'll take it
But,
on that one, but
but,
I can't say without a shadow of a doubt that
right.
that LeBron is the best passer in the NBA right now.
Because at the same
Jokic there.
time, sorry,
Debatable.
go
No, I'm
ahead, go
just
ahead.
saying that Jokic there. Jokic is there.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. He's a good passer. Come on.
Good
I
as an
think Jokic is
understatement
number one passer right now in the NBA.
Debatable.
for
We have
me.
to do another show for
It's
that.
not debatable. It's only debatable with you. Ain't debatable with nobody else.
All right. We'll see. We'll
Uh,
see.
um, I think we should take a break here and then
Yeah.
when we come back, we could talk about the All Star reserve predictions. Who you think is going to be on the bench, coming in, every now and again to share the stage with the superstars that already have been picked. So, with that, we can take a few minutes and we can come back and we talk about the NBA All Star reserves. Yo, Astro World, welcome back. Welcome back, Astro World. We're ready to talk about the All Star reserve predictions. No, this is a tough one just because you got to consider quite a bit performance of players, availability of players throughout the season so far, and positions, who will best fit certain positions and what's not. So I'm going to let the experts talk about this one. We can start with Hakeem. Who you got on the East in your reserve list? I think there's only 12 players, so you can only call 7 people now.
Yeah. So for me, for the guards, I have Jalen Brown. It's basically Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown that's carrying the Celtics. So Jalen Brown for sure has to go in that lineup as a reserve. I have Darius Garland. He's been playing at a high level. Help as one of the essential key pieces on the Cavaliers. Those are the two guards, and then obviously Joel Embiid, which is we were arguing if he should be a starter or not. So he has to go in there for sure.
Right.
Julius Randle, just because there are not a lot of forwards. A lot of forwards I've been saying that playing at at high level. Although the Knicks haven't really been the best, he is all-star type caliber player, not a perennial all-star, but he is a quality. So definitely Julius Randle.
So he
And
get him by
then I
default,
was
is what you're saying.
a bit. And then I was thinking between Jimmy Butler and Evan Mobley. The Heat haven't been doing the best, and I think Jimmy missed some games. But I'll put in Jimmy over Evan Mobley. So those are the 5 reserves, and then the 2 wild cards. Actually, I should take out Garris. I'll leave Darius Garden for now. James Harden and Trae Young. I got to put in James Harden. The Philly 76ers have been doing quite well. James Harden is not the same type of player he has been in the past, but he's still contributing. He's still averaging like 20 points per game, still dropping some good assists, and you can't tell me that he doesn't there's no point guard to help Embiid be the player he is right now. So James Harden has to go in there, and then Trae Young, just that entertainment factor. The Hawks have been quite poor this season. They've not really improved since that run they were on 2 years in the playoffs. And so Trae Young has to go in just because it's Ice Trae. Is so that's my team. That's my 7 reserves for the East.
Wait, you call seven?
Pure.
I thought you called
That's 7.
six.
That's 7. Jalen
Easy.
Brown, Darius Garland, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, Julius Randle, James Harden, and Trae Young. That's 7.
Nice. Nice, nice. What you got, Ray Vaughn?
All right, kind of similar. Just a few tweets here for me. Uh,
Yeah.
so starting off the guards for the East on the reserves, I have Jalen Brown, of course, Jason Tatum psychic, and Tyrese Halliburton. I can't
Mm.
leave out that man. He is leading the league in assists. How old he is? He's like 22. Like, come on,
Mhm.
man. He also up his scoring output. I would say exponentially. Um, just a floor general. I call him the new point guard. Truthfully, so I think
Mhm.
he deserved the spots. The position that the Pacers are in now, I would say, is mainly because of him. They are 11th in the East. Not the greatest record, but I don't think many people expected the Pacers to be doing this good in air quotes because that good is
They're not
relative.
doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not that good. So I won't let their downfalls for the time that he's been out take away from his individual brilliance. So I put him in that spot. And then for the forwards, reluctantly I have Julius Randle. I'm not a Julius Randle fan at all, but he's been playing well. So he gets his spot. Of course, Joel Embiid. I don't even know I could say Julius Randle before Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid. We just had a whole discussion about that. Uh,
Yeah,
so Joel Embiid, and
it's a
then I got
given.
I got Nick Claxton. So the Nets have 3 players based on my
Lit, buddy.
based on
You know, and
my list on the All Star team. I don't know what I'm saying,
all three. I don't think. Whoa,
but I think
that's
Nick
that's
Claxton
that's
has
rare.
been extremely impactful for the Nets. His counting stats don't speak it lowly, but he's been phenomenal for that team, especially on the defensive end. And I
Yep.
guess he's kind of like that. He's that Draymond All Star. I know last year we had a video about is Draymond really an All Star? So I guess
Right.
Nick Claxton kind of fills that role. That yes, the kind of stats don't really say, it, but his impact on the team speaks louder than the stats that we see on the sheet. Uh,
Right.
Trey Young is my wild card reserve. The Atlanta Hawks have been underwhelming, but Trey Young is still averaging almost 28 points a game and above 7 assists. So given that his consistent output as he's been, and to echo Hakeem James Harden, yes, it's not the James Harden of the past, but he's still making a big impact on his team, and they're trending towards that number one spot in the West that I have predicted that they will take for the season. So on a 7 game main streak. So loving to see that, and I think he is worthy of that position. An honorable mention would be Pascal
Yo,
Siakam.
Harris. Oh, just
No,
kidding.
no, Pascal
Uh,
Siakam. He's had an outstanding season. Truthfully, I don't even know. At the beginning of the season, he was going off. Taper, fell off a little bit coming up to this point. But
Wait, was he injured at one point? Is that
yeah,
what
he
he?
yeah he had a little injury in
Yeah.
between. But he's been when he's been on the court, he's been sensational. I would say more
Mhm.
than I would expect him to be. So sorry that I cut you out,
so,
Pascal, but the team performance is kind of poor. 5 games below 500. Um, I can't see who I would take out to put him in. Maybe Tyrese, but I feel like Tyrese deserved that spot.
but there is a different. Pascal doesn't play like a power forward
Yeah, he does.
or a
But
small
I mean,
forward.
like
Yeah.
if I had to switch around
Or just take
anything,
a player,
yeah,
a random
yeah,
player.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But you put in Tyrese, right? And you're talking for Pacers, but Pacers right now they're about 4 games under 400,
yeah.
and Darius Garland, you know, right now they're about 10 games actually above 500. So I feel like you know you
Yeah,
would you
but
want to take out
you
Tyrese
know your
over
boy doesn't
over
got impact.
I
But
yeah,
Darius Garland has had an incredible impact on the
but
Cavaliers.
they also got Donovan Mitchell. So if Darius Garland isn't there, Donovan Mitchell, there was a all right. First of all, Darius Garland started the season, and then there was a time that Darius Garland was out, and Donovan Mitchell was the only one. That same game when Donovan Mitchell dropped 71, Darius Garland was injured. So I just feel like you taking into account team success when you have already have an all-star player who could carry the load while you're out. In the same as the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is their engine to me. Not to say that
Mm.
Darius Garland is not an impactful player on the Cavaliers, but you have pieces there that you could fill him in this. He could Donovan Mitchell could replace him to some extent if you get what I'm saying. So that's the reason
Okay.
why I would still give Tyrese the nod.
Tyrese the
And he
nod
leading the
over
leader in
Darius.
assists as well. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
He got more than
Do,
Jokic.
but
Exactly.
Passing God.
would the fans prefer to watch Tyrese or Darius Garland? Like what would the fans want to watch?
I
Who's
think
more entertaining?
at the reserve point, I think
It's
that's
not really
less
fans
of
as
yeah,
much.
and
Yeah.
that's less of a
It's
thing.
just a showing
Yeah,
at that point. It's not. Ain't that deep.
it ain't that deep at all. So double digit
Hmm.
assists on the season, not just in a couple of weeks. On the season, 10 assists again. That's crazy. Point
Yeah,
guard
that's a
James
status,
world
Harden was
average.
James Harden was doing that overweight.
right?
You what?
I don't need
James
next.
Harden was getting over James Harden was getting over 10 assists a game. He was overweight at the Rockets, and then at the Nets, he was still averaging double digit assists.
Um,
So what was the point of mentioning that again?
I
Is
mean,
that he's leading assists right now, but it, it is still about that's which is great, but it's not like the league has been performing well. Like sorry, Trey Young normally does gets better assists. Um, who was it? Steph. Like any player that had to take this seriously could easily average double digit assists in the league.
wait. So
So I'm
you
saying,
you
So
saying you say
everybody
Trey Young
playing
don't be
around.
playing? All right,
but
then you say Trey Young
Everybody
play.
but
playing around right now.
when you think about it, right? For the NBA All Star game, you want to see points. You want to see offense. That is part of the offense too. But at the end of the day, I won't put him just because he's able to get great assists. It's about him. Is he able to score? Is he able to get points and buckets? Is it interesting assists or is it just easy assists? Is it like fascinating passes like Jokic or LeBron? What's his what's his style that he plays to get these assists? Is it like popping?
Again,
We
Hakeem.
want the
But his reserve end of
Yeah,
things is not like
it's not the
starters.
starters. That's what he's saying. Like the starters is supposed to be the main attraction for the show. Most people don't give heads nor tails whether who end up being the reserves because they didn't get to play as much. Number one, and at the end
and
of the day,
I find the players rotate quite well,
well, fair
starters
enough.
and reserves.
But at the end of the day,
It's
Like
not
people paying to come and see the starters who's supposed to be the best in the NBA. At the end of the day, so I if he gets in there and he's able to play, I don't think he's going to play a whole lot, and I just feel that he should be rewarded for leading the league in assists, truthfully, and taking a team that no one had no expectations of at all to a promising position before they subsequently fall off when he got injured. But that I think is incredible, truthfully, coming from last year. Tyrese
because he
Halliburton.
Hakim or no. Hakim like man.
Tyrese
okay,
Halliburton.
level.
I don't
And
understand. I
that's
get
fair.
you.
I
I
mean,
get the get
but
Darius Garland thing, but come on, man. Come on. I think you got to
like,
give some love, man.
for instance, like, if we have put James Harden as the definite reserve, right? Which means we'll leave you with a wild card. So it could be either a guard or a forward. Like, would you even still put Tyrese, or would you find
Yes.
another
I would put
forward that you could
Tyrese.
put in there?
Regardless of how he work out, I would put
You won't
Tyrese.
put you won't put DeMar DeRozan,
No.
and it was
Why
mm,
would you put Demar?
over Tyrese
I
as a wild
just
card.
even though the standings, I mean, yeah, it was three
They're
games on
they're,
the.
they're technically, but it's still above the Pacers at the moment.
I mean, Demar might get in, but I don't feel like Demar has
But he
had
yeah,
an
he
outstanding
he might
season
get it just
anyway.
because he's
Yeah,
Demar
yeah,
though,
correct. He
to be
might get in.
honest.
He might get in,
Yeah.
truthfully. But I ain't feeling it. That's a young blood game, man. Get All Star game. I feel like I feel like Tyrese. Leading the league in assists is not a easy thing to do. Generally, regardless of whichever team you're playing for or not.
At
Like,
that age as well,
yeah, at that age as well.
with that level of experience, like so.
I just think that that's phenomenal. I don't know why, but I guess you don't see it like that. Um,
Loady man, Hakim. Loady man. Let me move on. Loady man, general manager. Let me switch over sides, man. Let me go to the West. I can start
you
with
want me
you
to
this
start?
time, Rayvon.
All right.
Yeah, I can start with you.
So I got Shea, of course. We did talk about Shea with the Marquee matchup predictions from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Shea definitely has to be there. I mean, truthfully, he should maybe be a starter,
Nah,
maybe.
nope, nope, nope. Come on. You can't take out
But
Curry and you can't
but
take out Luca. So forget that.
I
but
mean,
Forget
Jokic
that.
could,
Curry, no. But he's a
Kalobi.
guard. He's a guard. So he has to. It's either over Curry or Luca.
yeah, and I don't
You're
see.
not gonna
Yeah,
take.
that's the
You're not
reason.
gonna take. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's on
Mm.
OK. He's on OKC. But let's keep it pushing.
agreed. But I feel like he would, statistically speaking, he deserve a starting spot. Statistically, just statistically, but taking into account that Steph Curry and Luka Doncic exist, and he can't
Come
pass
on.
that, but he get
Yeah.
the first reserve spot. First buddy, they got a call off the back gotta be shit. Um, the next person I have is Ja, of course, the human highlight reel, and then I have Laurie Markkinen from the Jazz as the first forward. The West forward is so shabby, truthfully.
Put it with Gee-Man.
Nah, I got some bonus. I got some bonus in from the
Martin.
Sacramento, and I got Aaron Gordon as my last reserve, and as the two wild cards. Is I it's tough. I can go AD. If you could play Zion, you could play AD. Truthfully,
Mhm.
in my speaking, and I got Anthony Edwards for the last wild card
Ah,
spot.
I like that pick. I like that pick, buddy. I like that pick. Interesting to see what
Anthony
Hakim may
Edwards.
come with. No,
Hmm.
All right. That's a pretty good lineup. I definitely have some changes there. But for me, so my first person I put on the reserves would be Ja Morant. I gotta put
on
Ja for sure.
reserves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
the
the
guards.
reserves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reserve as a guard position. So be Ja, and then
Reserves?
So you
he's
feel
not a
like he should be
starter.
a
So
starter?
No, not a starter, but wait,
is
wait.
he the starter?
I
Is he the
confused.
starter
Oh,
reserves?
okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah,
Sorry, I was
Yeah,
thinking wild
yeah,
card in my
yeah.
head for
Oh
Yeah,
no,
some
no,
no,
reason.
yeah,
yeah, uh-huh.
Because
yeah,
when I hear reserve, I be thinking football, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's got subs and it's
yeah,
got
yeah,
reserves. So
yeah.
I was,
yeah.
okay, okay. You get a bit happy. Sorry, my bad.
Low it. All right. So definitely Ja Morant. Then I have De'Aaron Fox as next guard. I just think, you know, Sacramento Kings are not beloved. They're like arguably one of the worst teams in California, but they're doing
I'm
well
gonna
this
put up my
season
flag
nonetheless.
today.
They're they've been doing well in the West, and De'Aaron Fox has been playing high level for the last couple of seasons. Obviously, he's never had the chance to be an All Star just because the Kings have never been in a good position. So I think this year he deserves it. Some credit. So I put him there. Then I put
Wait, stop. You realize that you gave Rayvon bare heat
but
for
the Kings are in third. But the Kings are in third.
no,
Pacers
right?
Pacers are
But
in 11th.
all
They're a
right,
winning team.
I
Like
digress
statistically
then.
winning team. Yeah. The Kings
Okay,
in
I
third right now.
digress. Go ahead.
So then I got Sabonis. The forwards, as everyone said, ain't looking the best to be honest. But I put
You Biggie
Sabonis
a
in
pit
there.
me? Shh. You
Pardon
might
me.
don't like Biggie
Man,
Nah.
and two Wiggins.
Last year, we know how Wiggins got in.
yes,
You know,
votes
yeah,
mainly.
a big vote from a certain part of the
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
but that's not gonna happen this year because the Warriors are not doing
He
well
deserves to be
at
an All
all.
Star, but not All Star starter. I'll maintain that.
So who can you pick him?
No, no, I talking about last
He
year.
must say no.
I talking about last year.
Last year. Oh, last year.
Mm.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
That's fair. He didn't deserve to be a starter, but I could see he deserved to be in the All Star nonetheless.
Mhm.
So for me, for the forwards, Laurie Markkinen, Sabonis, and I have Anthony Davis. I feel like I only include Anthony Davis because, to be frank, I don't really see any forwards in the West that I really would want to watch
Yeah,
play.
I agree.
So I had to put in Anthony Davis. He's back. He's been playing when he was playing at elite level, destroying all the competitors. So definitely Anthony Davis. And my two wild cards. I don't know how everyone forgot about this guy, but
No, I know Dame. You can probably say Dame. I
damn,
can say
Damn
Dame.
time for
time,
sure.
damn
I,
time.
I had he was a toss.
Uh,
I had not taken on Anthony Edwards because I feel that he deserved his spot, but it was a toss up between Dame and AD for me.
Dame dropping 60 pieces. And come on, Dame he's a
He
legitimate
probably
all
get it.
star.
Yeah, he probably get
He
it.
has to
But
be there every year as long as he's fit. He has to be there. And then for
But
the
like
last
you
position,
said, it's because he loyal to the wrong team that he probably not getting a starter's position on the All Star teams.
yeah, if he was on a winning team, he probably definitely be.
hey, catch
Nah,
yourself, watch yourself there, watch it.
yeah.
Step
can't
out.
can't take a LeBron. Can't take a LeBron. Can't take a Jokic almost on his third MVP in 3 years. And then Williamson is dynamic, so explosive, powerhouse. So he might his best chance to be against Zion, but everyone loves Zion. So I don't know DM time has been delayed, but DM will make it for the reserves. And for the last position, I going with Booker.
Man, no,
Booker.
Yeah.
Hakim, no, man.
Uh,
What
I just
is?
like
uh,
Booker.
I think
Hakim, you serious?
is Booker or Shea? Is Booker or Shea?
You even
No,
mentioned
you can't compare them two right now.
you?
No,
Come
but
on.
now they're both in the guard. They're both guards. Just thinking,
Yeah, but you
But
can't compare them performances right now
when last
and
Devin
argue
Booker
for a
even play?
spot on the thing on
When
the
last
team.
Devin, when last Devin Booker play? Where are these sons? Devin
sounds
Booker.
in ninth right now.
I ain't talking about position. I ain't talking about the
How long has Booker been out?
extremely long since last year, Hakim. A whole month for the calendar year going. When's the last thing Devin Booker played?
How many games have he missed? If he is
He
eligible,
missed enough.
Booker.
He missed enough for me to know that he ain't getting in no All Star game. That is what
uh,
I can't believe
if
you said
if
that.
Booker's not
Pick
eligible,
again, Hakim.
probably
Pick
Shea.
again.
It gotta be Shea.
Devin Booker.
It gotta be Shea. Yeah, it
Oh
gotta be
my
Shea.
goodness.
As
We
the last
upset.
as the last wild card.
We upset.
I
That's
can't
much
believe you
better.
putting shit as a wild card.
Over. I'm not gonna put him over Jamorant, and I'm not gonna put him over De'Aaron Fox. Shea's
Why
in the
wouldn't you
11th
put?
position. His team.
Why wouldn't you put him over De'Aaron Fox?
I think De'Aaron's been playing at a high level, averaging. I think he's
And what,
averaging. If he's
so
not averaging,
was she playing that astronomical
yeah,
level?
but his team
I
is at to
understand.
me. From last year, from last year, I always factor in the team's performance as well too. I'm so big on that too. We don't want empty calories. So for me, the fact that Kings are in third for the first time in however many years, I have to take that into account. And De'Aaron is a part. He's one of the main ingredients for their success. This recipe of success. So De'Aaron Fox has to go in there for me. This
Devin
is
Booker
one of his
played
only
since
opportunities.
December 25th, Christmas Day.
How many games does that translate? He's missed.
I don't know, but he ain't play a lot. 25th of
But I feel like
December.
I feel like Zion's missed more games than him. And he's a starter. At 80, we call 80 too. Both 80's missed a lot of games. So I feel like
Let me go on
it's
NBA.
still.
Cause I
But yeah, but those are my teams. Those are my players.
boy, it can't be
If
that
Booker
Booker
if
one
if
boy.
if if Booker is eligible, Booker. If not, I put in shit.
Um, Booker played
My heart
29
on Booker
games.
for real, boy.
Booker played
Running
29
and go
games.
Booker.
29 out of 50. Yeah, 50 something.
40
Maybe
something
50.
or low 50.
Yeah, I think we are low 50s now. In games played. Like, nah, fam. Nah.
All right, we share.
Hey, Corby shit, Hakim. I ain't even see what that's a debate at all. At all. He almost averaging the
Let me.
most points in the league. Man, and the thing is, the Thunder better than
Humble.
the Suns right now.
Humble.
Almost pretty much. I will,
Almost.
I will, I will rate the
Almost.
Thunder over the Suns right now.
but the Thunder are not as high as the Suns.
Both of them scraping the bottom of the barrel. Both of them got 25
But
losses.
one's a little lower. You know what I'm saying? One's a little closer to the end of the barrel.
Shea can be in there at the end of the day. But I just didn't think
You
the
shit
hockey
me.
would have overlooked shit like that. But he has a wild card.
But come on, we already can't. I ain't putting over there on Fox and Jamorant hands down.
Oh,
So
you mean he can't? I will put he over De'Aaron
not
Fox right now.
questionable. Questionable.
Right now.
His team is his team is too high, and that is my final list.
All right, Hakeem. Well, we'll see. I don't know when the actual reserves are going to come out.
It's supposed to be on the day of the game, a couple hours before
Oh,
the actual game.
wait, no, no, no,
They're
no,
doing it a
no,
little different this year.
no, no, no. They gotta get the reserves gotta get named before the game. They
No, they're
can't do
doing
it.
it different this year. They're doing it differently this year.
I
This
know they're
year.
doing it different in
So you
terms of
saying that everybody
selecting,
gonna suit up?
but that's what he's saying. You gotta know before the game that you taking part in the
I
All
mean, they're
Star
doing it.
game.
I mean, they're doing it a couple hours. Well,
No, you
they
gotta
might
know
have a
before.
pool.
Yes,
Hours.
they would just have the pool. They would just pick.
They'll have a
It's just that
pool.
they're picking on the
You
day. They're picking on the day. That's the only thing that changed because usually they would pick before the day. But
Right.
yeah.
you have to have the pool of players before the day for sure. For sure, for sure. But I don't know when it coming out. I know they were supposed to be voting up till this weekend because the coaches had a vote on the result or on the reserves. So I guess we'll see it sometime this week into next week.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We good? We
Yeah,
good on the
we Gucci, we
picks?
Gucci, we Gucci.
I mean, it's my pick, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, you feel like, hey, yeah, that's what you feel, but I don't
it's my
agree.
pick. It's my one
But
pick.
hey,
It is what it is at the end of the day. We know how hacking picks usually go anyway, so
what? Hakeem, am I throwing shots
Shots,
at
man,
you left,
shots,
right, and center, boy?
shots.
all the
But
time, all the
what we
time.
watch and see, we can see which team is closer to the actual team.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I don't know why else we would do predictions, Hakim.
Man. Salty.
Uh,
Anyways, man, let me move on to our marquee matchups for this week. Coming tomorrow, we got Lakers at Knicks. Hakeem, nah, never mind. Right on. You
Let me
already know
see.
Hakeem.
It's true. It's true. You could pencil that. You could put that in. You
Yeah,
could tattoo that. You know where he locked in. Um, I think the Lakers on an upward trajectory. LeBron is playing at a phenomenally high level. So I go with the Lakers. I would join Hakeem's side in this one. I know you can probably play you too. You tattoo too, cause you say you don't you don't bet on the Nets at all. So there's that.
that's the thing. Is Lakers and Knicks. I
Well, fair
got a
enough.
which
certain
one?
feeling about
This is yeah,
Lakers.
yeah, and the Nets as well. So
So I think I'll go with it. But who I think is the better side, and that's Lakers, honestly, because 80 back, so them got definitely got a higher chance of winning anyway. Nets versus Celtics, another big game here.
I go with
I don't
Celtics.
know. Yeah, this is on Wednesday. I don't know. Uh,
I know you want to
Because
pick the Nets bad, man. Just pick
I
them.
feel yeah, because
Yeah,
I feel Nets got a good chance of upsetting Celtics at some point.
So Nets for you, Hans.
I
Hello?
just don't know if they will be able to do it though.
You locking in? Time
locking
ticking,
for
Hans.
Nets.
Time ticking, man. Time ticking.
Let me go Nets, man. Let me go Nets. We make it
You
interesting
gotta take
this
some
week.
chances, man. We
Yeah,
would say you Hakeem.
For the
Celtics.
record, for the record, gotta get Lakers on the record. For the record, it wasn't stated
Okay,
on the record.
fair enough.
And
The word is born.
word is born, and then Celtics for this one.
Celtics. All right.
Francho for me, Royce, Buddy, Joe, all the men
What?
Watanabe.
I didn't know you believe in these men, boy. You believe in Joe Harris, boy.
Francho for me. Yeah. Seth, oh man, Francho.
And then we got Heat
Nick, what do you
at
mean?
Bucks on Saturday. That should be a fun game.
Uh,
That's a good strong rivalry
Yeah,
there.
wait,
yeah.
Middleton back yet or no?
Nah.
Shh, ain't gonna heat.
Uh,
Going to
And this
Bucks.
can
I
go
give me the
do a
Bucks
lot
too.
of work.
Yeah, that's the
Then
thing. Yeah.
Bucks.
I think the Bucks might
Bucks
lose
me.
that one, truthfully, but I put my money on the Bucks because I think the Heat actually
You
got
got
about it
money to lose.
pretty much their full. Their two main players. They got about Jimmy and Bam, and I don't know if Tyler Hero back, but either way, I just feel like the Heat is giving Bucks problems most of the time. This can be a low scoring game. I can tell you that
Mm.
because both of the
Like a
teams, the offense,
102 to 95,
yeah,
something like
something
that.
around that. They might not even break 100, but
Yeah,
I going
I,
Bucks.
I think for Bucks to win, Giannis got put in a lot of effort for this one. So
Yeah, I think he will.
Like always, like
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
exactly.
I mean he will, but not every time that he put in effort is count as we would expect, especially when it comes to the Heat. So it looking pretty interesting right here.
Hmm.
We got two men that if them go 3 for 3, one man can go 1 for 3.
Hmm.
So we can
Boy,
see we can
yes,
see how
boy.
this
Shall see.
goes. Yeah, I risking this week.
Hmm.
Um, I like it though. I like the odds. That's it for our predictions. I would like to see some of the chat predictions for sure to see what they're thinking, see where they head at. But it is what it is. We had an interesting talk today, some good back and forth. I enjoyed today, so excited to get this week out the way with these predictions. I know I can win first one. The second one is very close, and the third one is mine for sure. So yeah, excited.
Next week we can come out and see a sad face in our background as well.
For
Sad face.
real.
That's what.
If I go 1 for 3, fam, I can be gutted. That's for sure. I might not even come on. I might let you guys run the stream and watch. I'll be in the comments.
We hold a funeral.
The
We hold a
embarrassment.
funeral.
Fair enough. Anything you guys want to mention before we head out
Uh,
for
nothing.
peace?
Yeah, I didn't have anything sports, news related. A question though, Hans.
Mhm.
F1 coming back, man.
March.
March. Gee, we got a little ways.
March 3rd,
We got a little ways to go.
early March.
Hmm.
Man, not really.
But yeah, because things start ramping up.
It's
Coming
gonna be here
Yeah,
coming
I
July.
next
think,
week. Yeah.
yeah, because next few weeks, everybody gonna be buzzing about F1 again.
Hmm.
And then, just so you know, it's Bahrain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, excited for F1. Hakeem, get up to speed, buddy.
Literally.
F1 this season.
Get up to speed, buddy.
We'll try. We'll try.
Pick a team and let me go. Let me go at it. Oh, Zane. I saw Zane training.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, we
Pretty
can post
intense
it on
training.
the page.
Gonna be driving for F2. We're talking about Zane Maloney, people. He's the one and only. You already know how it is.
You gotta get Zay on the
Um,
show.
Boy, that would be a blessing. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Anybody that any audience that any contact with Zane, put in a little word for the Hastro Bros.
Oh,
See
you
if you
think?
get a little audience.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we're really excited for that coming up. And then I feel like I gotta talk about some dirt bike racing a little bit more, but
Mhm.
I can let this week pass and then probably hop back on it next week. So
Right,
it's been a
easy,
good stream.
Hans.
Glad to see you guys again. Another week. So with that, I can close up the show unless Akim got something to say. I don't know if Akim got something to say.
I get it.
Hey, you're good. Easy.
Let's hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep on this journey together.
Easy. Anyways, peoples, that's been it for the Hastro Bros, and we are out.